Fantastic to be here. Good evening. Thank you all for being here. I want to just start out and say thank you to all of you. Thank you for investing your time. The Iowa caucuses and the Iowa caucus goers, what all of you do matters so much, because it's not pundits and it's not political insiders that pick presidents. It's Iowa caucus goers who invest time investing to learn and listen to candidates like you're doing tonight. You play an incredibly important role in this country. Give yourselves a hand. Thank you so much for everything you're doing. And I do want to say today was a beautiful, beautiful fall day, amazing fall day. It was for Catherine, right over here on the side, the beautiful First Lady from North Dakota, Catherine. It was the third best day that Catherine and I have ever had in Iowa. Was today. Catherine's family, she's from North Dakota. Her family was in the John Deere business. I had a chance this afternoon to get away from campaigning for a little bit. Got in a combine, was driving a combine down by Cogan. And I guess they said Coggin here for anybody that's from Coggin. But it was fantastic. And it was a PR for me because I had never been in a John Deere combine where I've seen, in North Dakota, we're further north, the growing season shorter. I've never seen a number over 300 on the yield thing. And today, for a while, we were going through a low spot, 316. So that's a new PR for me. And it was on a big John Deere with all the latest auto steer. Catherine's, like I said, in the John Deere business. Her family was in that, so it was a happy moment. And then, of course, pulling the giant grain cart that we filled up after just one trip up and down the field, being pulled by a Case IH quad track 450, not the biggest ones, they're the 600s, but the 450 made in Fargo, North Dakota, and I've had a chance to drive the 600, the first one off the line at that plant, so that's one of the cool things about being governor in North Dakota that you guys didn't know about. Anyway, that was our day today. That was our third best day ever, and then some people have said, well, how does it get any better than that? And I said, well, Catherine and I were both here, and the first and second best days in our lives in Iowa was when North Dakota State beat the Hawkeyes and when North Dakota State beat the Cyclones. Those were the days one and... What? Too soon? Come on, that was 2014 and 2016. Can't we live in the past once in a while? Okay. But that was fun. Just try not to think about us kicking that field goal with time expiring to win 23-21. Who would bring that up? Okay. I do want to say it's fabulous to be here, but this is really uncertain times. We've got uncertainty in the world, and we've got uncertainty at home. Inflation is the number one thing that's choking every American family. It costs $700 more a month for every family to put food on the table and gas in the car than it did when Joe Biden took office just under 3 years ago. And it's reaching into every hardworking American savings, including, unfortunately, everybody in this room, like a thief in the night. Your bank account says that money is still there, but you've lost 30% of your purchasing power, along with every other American, in what's in your savings. And that is the number one thing that is killing opportunity in our country. And then interest rates at a 23-year high, closing in on 8%, putting the dream of homeownership out of reach for a whole generation of young people. And we know that homeownership is part of what drives our country forward. But that's self-inflicted, completely self-inflicted by the Biden policies of spending more than they have and out of control spending. And then number two, energy policy is also driving that inflation. When you try to kill the U.S. energy industry and then trade, OPEC, which we finally got free of, China is basically writing Joe Biden's energy policy, because if you're going to say we're going to get rid of liquid fuels, and in Iowa here with ethanol and biodiesel and what we do in places like North Dakota and Texas, liquid fuels is Team USA. If you're on EV, you're on Team China, because Team China, they control 85% of the rare earth minerals, and any plan to have our entire fleet of transportation electrified right now depends on China. A country that's the world's largest polluter. They put more CO2 in the air than anybody in the world. They're opening a coal plant, one a week. They have 260 that are being permitted. So how in the world would you have an energy plan? If you cared about the environment, you'd want to have every ounce of energy and every electron produced in the United States of America. So wrong on economy and wrong on energy and wrong on national security, and they're all three tied together. I'm sure you've heard it from every speaker tonight, but we've got Joe Biden is funding Iran, which is then funding Hamas and funding Hezbollah. We're in a proxy war with Russia. We're in a proxy war with Iran. We're in a Cold War with China. That's all happening because of failed policies. We're generating conflict through weakness. We need peace through strength. And one thing that Ronald Reagan taught us is the way you win a Cold War is you get your economy really moving. In North Dakota, we've done everything we need to do. We've cut red tape, passed 51 more red tape reduction bills this year. We get up every day, and you know what we say? We say innovation, not regulation. That's what we do to drive our economy. That's how America has always won. And we also say on energy, it's pretty simple. On day one, we're going to sell energy to our friends and allies. Stop buying it from our enemies. That's the policy right now. And we can't have national security without food security, energy security, and border security. I've been down to the border more times than Joe Biden. We've had deployments down there continuously during my time as governor. And not just guarding the border, but flying night helicopter missions from San Diego to the Gulf Coast. North Dakota National Guard, Dakota helicopters, trying to stop transnational criminal organizations. The invasion into our country, 6.5 million people, that's the equivalent of Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Joe Biden's home state of Delaware, and the state of Montana. That's how many asylum seekers have been let in from countries that are on the terrorist watch list. So our country is less safe, our country is less prosperous under Joe Biden. Who's going to fix that? It's not going to be somebody from Washington, D.C., it's going to have to be somebody from the outside. And guess what? It's going to take somebody who's got some common sense and small town values, who understands how to turn this country around, someone who's worked in the private sector. I've been making payroll since my mid-20s. I've created more jobs than everybody else on that debate stage combined. I'm just sorry. They've served our country in a great way, but we've got to, if someone's going to fix this economy, they have to have actually done the work. Every job I had growing up, working on the farm, the ranch, as a chimney sweep, paying my way through college, I took a shower at the end of the day, not at the beginning of the day. I am out there for the American worker. I'm out there for the American farmer. I understand their pain. My dad died when I was a freshman in high school. My mom went back to work. She was making sure that we could pay the mortgage and save the farm. That's what we went through. We can do this. We can turn around the economy, turn around energy, make America more safe and more prosperous. Thank you. DougBurgum.com. We'll see you soon.